Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Crashers podcast, a podcast where we discuss our thoughts on gaming news. I am Angelus De Mortio, together with Kev the Gamer.
I don't have anything catchy for this week.
That's your own damn fault.
I know.
Deathshroud09.
Odds are awesome.
And Deadpool. He doesn't talk a lot. It's a shame.
It's better than the Robot Overlord.
Hey, only Jeremy loves to argue with that robot overlord. All day. He's just like, come at me, bro. It wins every time. Yeah. Anyway, so this week we have a lot of fun in store here. Good times. I hear that at some point Pokemon Go will crash in here and destroy the stream because it's destroying lives everywhere. That has been confirmed 100%.
Virgin Lives Matter.
Yeah, so Kev, have you played any new games this week?
No. I went back and started playing Doom again. I've rage quit on Overwatch a few times.
Good.
Which, meh. I played The Witcher at 1440p, which felt like a new game. Oh my god, 1440p, 60 frames on The Witcher 3. I had to take it down to medium settings because of my 970. Oh, it was still so glorious.
You had to take it to medium settings, though.
And it still looked fucking fantastic.
That burns.
I don't have a problem with mediums. We've already talked about this. I play Overwatch at low settings.
I played at medium settings just to keep it at that 60 frames.
Yes.
But I have a reason for that, right? I have an excuse for that.
Yeah, I have no excuse for it.
I was gonna make the excuse of I was gonna jump out there and be like, "Wow, Travis, you've changed a lot." But he came back before I had a chance to say it.
What, got glasses, became a chick, that kind of thing?
Yep, exactly. So I hear that Travis's girlfriend has she loves Pokemon Go so much, and has been thoroughly enjoying this experience so much. Particularly enjoying collaborating with fellow Pokemon Go players and how cordial and polite they are.
I don't know how you run around coordinated with 38-year-old virgins.
Listen, I don't care if you play Pokemon Go, but when you block my path so I can't leave to go somewhere because you've got to catch some rare Pokemon that's in my cousin's backyard, then I'm like, you gotta go.
Yeah, you can't be getting into people's yards, trying to break into people's houses.
In a lot of cases that's bullshit, right? So here's the thing. The AoE on that is, unless you have like a freaking mansion, like a huge 50,000 square foot mansion, the little circle that you can catch Pokemon in is going to be bigger than most houses. So anybody that breaks into a fucking house, they're not there to catch Pokemon. That's a fucking excuse. Shoot their ass, ask questions later. Welcome to Florida, right, Travis?
Just shoot them in the nuts. Shoot them in the nuts so they survive, and they'll realize maybe I shouldn't do that again.
Well, they won't ever do it again.
I suppose that is plausible for us Floridians.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it in Florida shoot first, ask questions later anyway?
Technically, you're actually supposed to, not shoot to wound. So
that is actually the recommendation.
I feel threatened.
I was aiming for the shoulder and it accidentally hit their head. I never said I had good aim.
Well, like I said, that's the recommendation, though.
What's funny is that in a court of law, you would be better off saying, I aimed for their head and hit their shoulder.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like also, to TJ in the chat, I have not heard of this game. It reminds me of
that is actually way old. That was from one of my other live streams, and for some reason, that comment fucking stuck there. Like, other people have said shit since then. It clears out everybody else's shit, but it leaves that one stuck there.
Oh, it popped up like it was new.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That was from like 2 weeks ago on one of my live streams.
It looks like Gary's mod. And yeah. I don't want to play Gary's mod either.
Yeah, no thanks on Gary's mod.
I got invited to play Gary's mod a few weeks ago. Shout out to Failed to Listen. Him and his boys were inviting me on to play Gary's mod. It's just not a game.
That's what those YouTubers like Leafy and those types play. Which, I mean, let's be honest, they could literally play anything they wanted, and people would just watch
Wait,
it 'cause
Leafy plays games? I've never actually watched Leafy. I just know he takes a lot of shots at people.
yeah, that's pretty much he. So I do give credit. Genius business model, by the way. Bunch of videos start flooding YouTube. You make a business model, a successful business model, off of making fun of those videos.
Well, I mean, lots of people have done it. That's how what's called Top Hats and Champagne made it. Has a decent following doing that.
But let's be
I watched
honest,
some Fat Rags
there's
that
one
does
that's
it.
on top of them all, and that is Leafy.
Leafy probably is.
It's really
There's this, what's his name? Maxim Batty. I love Maxim Batty. That dude is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Little Belgian dude, just talking all kinds of shit.
it's really interesting how that works on YouTube, right? Like specializing in a very specific niche.
That's kind of the way to make it on YouTube, though.
Like it's and just how popular doing that can get you is
Yep.
very interesting.
Well, that kind of is the way to make it on YouTube. And I think it's anything. Like Morty and I talk about our background in music. If you try to do everything, then you'll never become good at the one thing that you're supposed to be doing, kind of thing.
Yep.
The thing
And what
is,
happens is you're going to get labeled something anyway.
right? You gotta know your audience, right?
Well, partly,
My-
like using my channel as an example, I've always said, I'm a multi-platform channel. I play games on everything.
Right.
But when people come to me, oh, you have a PC channel. I didn't say that. Other people said it. I already got labeled or something.
Well,
I'm just starting to run with it.
I noticed my little sister was watching some YouTube videos, and she's really young. She's like 4 or whatever, 4 or 5, something like that. I can never remember. There's too many of them. And she was watching this video of like this lady who like plays with like ponies and like does like artsy crap stuff. And her video, like they're really, really infantile and stuff, but her videos have like 1.3 million views.
Oh, my
Like,
son has
like consistently.
yeah. My 7-year-old watches videos of a kid his age who just plays with Legos.
Yeah.
And has like millions of views, millions of subs.
Well, it's funny because I noticed on one of the more popular videos, it seems like she has like in the title like keywords that like 4-year-olds would search on YouTube in the title.
That's smart.
So it's like Disney. It's like Disney's Frozen princess pony play.
Well, like my niece would watch videos of some lady that literally just opens these like I think they're like treasure eggs or something. I can't remember
Right.
exactly what it is, but it,
Kinder eggs or whatever.
the lady's mentality is just so funny. Like she's like excitedly deadpan. Oh wow, there's a present inside here. What is this? I wonder what it could be. It's actually a little bit frightening. I kind of wonder if she's actually a serial killer. But whatever the case is, yeah, and Zyphon, of course. Shout out to niece. Zyphon, why don't they do that on TV? Because they haven't realized just how much damn money can make. Although they do that on TV, it's called spoof movies.
Well, TV kind of does has the kind of this old model that even consoles have it, bringing it back to gaming.
Yeah.
Where as long as something is working, they are not going to change it.
Yep.
Like the only reason we even went from sitcoms to reality television is because of the writer's strike in the early 2000s. Oh shit, we can make money off of people who just want to be on TV. Well, fuck spending money on it. Let's get some people who just want to be there.
And that's pretty much it. And they try to spend as little money as possible actually actually doing anything on there. It's amazing. But yeah, that's a lot of times what you see with the gaming universe. It happens a lot in mobile gaming most particularly. Like, let's talk Pokemon Go. It's literally a reskin of the game by Niantic called Ingress. They took Ingress, skinned it Pokemon, and then maybe added a few extra bits in here and there. But because it has the name Pokemon on it, it took off a hell of a lot bigger than Ingress did.
Isn't Ingress actually a lot more fleshed out than Pokemon Go is? Like I heard that.
From what I understand, I have not played Ingress a huge amount, but I did download it and open it up, and I'm like, holy shit, yeah, this is the exact same fucking game with a different skin, same premise. But yeah, as far as I understand, they had like real-time events in Ingress that would happen. to get people to go to places, but it never caught on. It never really had the widespread appeal of Pokemon. Where if they did the same thing with Pokemon that they did with Ingress, yeah, it would have a huge following to it. But yeah, so, and that's like, honestly, I was like, you know what? I honestly have no problem. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play some Pokemon Go. Why not? After I looked at Ingress, I was like, I really would hope that they actually try to do some of the stuff they did with Ingress, like, you know, like have real time events happening, like an announcement pops up, hey, the super rare Pokemon showed up at this location, and just see all the little chubby kids sprinting there.
Or I'm getting flashbacks of Pokemon Diamond or whatever, where the legendaries would show up at a random spot at the map, and you had to try and chase them down.
Well, yeah. The thing is that yeah, I think it's in right now, like a lot of the gyms and stuff. Oh, Kev quit. He got mad because we're talking about Pokemon. Yeah, but no, like you know, I feel like whenever a lot of these people get into niche marketing and doing stuff, mobile gaming kind of tends to do most of the niche stuff, and it tends to also be some of the laziest. Like if you look at Clash of Clans, and then all of the clones of that game that literally have done the exact same thing.
Well, the thing about mobile gaming is that it kind of lends itself to being niche, right? Because
yeah,
mobile games, generally speaking, now this is not for everyone, but generally speaking, they have to be simple, right? They have to be relatively simple, and that lends itself to niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you could have a complex game and be niche.
Kev's camera rage quit because of the Pokemon talk.
Well, nah, it
You
got
can have a
disrupted, and
complex
now I
game.
can't turn it back on.
You can have a complex game be niche, but when you're
Dark
making
Souls.
simple games, niche is good.
Yeah.
Because niche makes your game stand out, despite being simple.
Yep. Yeah, Kev, if you need to restart the call, we can go BRB before we get into our first story for the night, and that
Can you adjust it just to the image? That way we don't have to go BRB or whatever.
Okay.
Because I'll probably be. My wife took off and my kids are here. I didn't realize she had left until a minute ago.
Okay, no worries. I will adjust that now so that way we just see Kev's pretty nut face. Yeah. So in any case, though, yeah, like mobile does lend itself a bit to the niche standard in a lot of ways because it itself is kind of a newer platform. And it's kind of the kind of go-to platform for a lot of companies looking to make a quick buck, unfortunately, though. And that's something that kind of makes it a difficult proposition for a lot of gamers to want to get into, though. Make it... Kev just staring right there. There we go. Perfect. That looks great. It looks great. You just look completely unamused with us. Anyway, so the thing is, though, is that something that Pokemon, I think, really strives to do is it strives to kind of break out of that niche and get a little bit more widespread appeal, because what makes niche is only a few people play it, right? And that's kind of...
Not always. Sometimes it's just that it's a very distinct market. Like, when I think niche, I think of something like Dark Souls. I think Dark Souls is a very niche game. Very popular, but very niche.
Especially Dark Souls 3, right? Dark Souls 3, you know, the most popular title in the franchise, but yeah, it's definitely... it was definitely before that. It was like a try-hard game. It was like, you have to be good at the game to play this.
I mean, Are we sure that it's more popular than Bloodborne? I don't know which one did more in sales, Bloodborne or Dark Souls.
I'm gonna probably guess Dark Souls 3 because Bloodborne got a new audience into the Dark Souls series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it kind of snowballed the popularity. The people who played Dark Souls 2 already knew about it, were like praising it all over the place, and then you had these people that played Bloodborne on PS4.
Just because it was a PlayStation exclusive. Hey, I'll check this out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and now it's not so much niche anymore, and that's where kind of the point of like, well, sometimes niche games become unniche when they gain a certain amount of popularity, which is kind of what Pokemon has done, unfortunately.
But even Dark Souls 1 and 2 were still pretty popular.
Yeah, they were popular, but not nearly as much as 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you put the sales for the first 2 games... Well, actually, if you put the sales of Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, and Dark Souls 2 together, it probably doesn't even come to the sales of Dark Souls 3.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and get moving on to our first story for the night. And this one, of course, Jeremy is going to have a lot to say about in Discord at some point later whenever he watches the podcast.
Jeremy, we just hit our 1-year anniversary. And Travis was our Jeremy replacement, and Jeremy is yet to come back.
Yeah,
so
he's had opportunities.
He gets no say. He has no say so.
He's had opportunities to come back and artfully dodge them every time. So if he wants to make a comment about our story here, he's welcome to it. Anyway, so Star Citizen, the never-ending game of joy and love that everybody knows about. It's everybody's favorite game. No, it's the never-ending developing game that's raised over $117 million from crowdfunding, took a very minuscule hit, but also set a precedent for those wanting refunds after a backer went to the California Attorney General to get a $3,000 refund. Essentially, Cloud Imperium Games justified the refund rather bitterly, stating, "Having reviewed the complainant's interactions with our customer service agents, we have determined that it is also in our interest to terminate his participation in our fundraising community." What?
So basically,
he went to the fucking Attorney General, called their bluff, forced them to give him a refund, and their reaction is, "We're terminating his participation in our fundraising communication."
The salt is palpable.
Yeah.
Right.
So first of all, that's what I come to expect. The head of Cloud Imperium Gaming is a raging dick. So I expect that kind of reaction coming from the company. But my question is, do you guys think that there might be more people that attempt to seek refunds now that there's a clear path for that?
It's precedent, right? Precedent
I
is the thing.
think they're just going to change the EULA. I mean, you kind of got to. Crowdfund something.
So here's the thing. Before we get too far on that, they did change the EULA on there, or the terms of service. First of all, the terms of service already was very unclear or very hinky about getting refunds. But then they updated the language not long ago.
I mean, you flat out kind of have to say no refunds at this point.
Yeah, like no, they pretty much have said no refunds at this point. But he still lit the right fires. The thing is you go to a court of law, historically, terms of services get fuck all for attention in courts of law. Like, nobody gives a shit about them. Because let's put it this way: if I make you guys sign a contract right now that says I get to eat your babies,
that's illegal. Doesn't hold up in a court of law.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that like does after I get charged for eating babies, obviously in committing an actual crime, does you going then and suing me for damages and loss and grief and that sort of thing in a civil court, do you think my terms of services are going to stand up for one fucking iota in a civil court? No, they won't. You will get every goddamn dime you want from there as soon as the judge takes one look at that and says, "You put what in your terms of services?" No, give them their fucking money. However much they want. I don't care. Saw off this guy's legs to pay for it. That's what's gonna that's his.
Damn, saw off his legs though, savagery.
Yeah, well that's the way that terms of services have been viewed in civil courts. Like, anytime a company tries to enforce them, or if someone wants to get out of it, like in this case, that's why Cloud Imperium Game gave him the refund. Gave him the full fucking refund. So, but that's my thing, is that now there's a public statement of this guy got his money back, and I know some other people have been a little bit leery about their practices.
Sure,
So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. Kev, do you think that people are going to try to get more refunds?
Probably.
Probably.
I think people are going to do whatever they can to get money.
Well, they obviously had money to give in the first place.
Yeah, but I mean to get it back. Especially, you know how people are. If I can get a refund, I'm gonna get a refund.
Yeah.
But then again, there's so many corporate apologists out there these days. It's hard to tell.
Tell you what, man, I love refunds.
I love Steam refunds.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that kills Star Citizen for me is like, oh yeah, you invest money. Sorry, Jeremy, you invested $100 and some into a game that probably will never actually get released.
Right.
know-
Actually, I remember him and I were talking about it, and I said, yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't want to play which car Star Citizen early. Like we were talking about this early, like this versus Elite Dangerous when that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know because I'm ready for Star Citizen. I love what it is on paper, but will they finish it?
And that's my major thing is that like you said, on paper, sounds glorious.
Are we sure? Are we sure this this isn't just a racket? Like,
That's my suspicion is I mean like
how entirely sure are we that this money is not just getting laundered as we speak?
Well, the
All
thing
money's
is
getting laundered. It's
that
America.
what the game what I've seen of the game, I guarantee you it has not cost anywhere close to $117 million. I'm guessing maybe $1 million, maybe $2 million if we're being generous. $2 million to make what they've made so far. They've literally had $115 million. Let's go on a fucking cruise. Hey, what's up, Rogue?
What I would like to know is if there's an agency. Is Star Citizen or whatever company it is, are they based in the States?
Yes, they are. Cloud Imperium Game, I believe, they're based in California.
Is there a government agency that would be able to like basically audit them or whatever to see like is there anything
so here's
that
the thing.
an agency that exists could do to like be like, look, you're spending all of this money on hookers and blow.
Well, here's the thing. So
Are they good looking hookers?
No, here's the question I posed to you on that front. Is so I open up a crowdfunding goal to make something. I say it's going to cost me $100,000 to make. Everybody loves this idea so much, I end up crowdfunding $20 million. I make that product for $100,000. I deliver that product to whoever backed it. But like it cost me exactly what I said it would. Is it like am I like then bound to return that extra money? I don't believe any crowdfunding site has any such stipulation.
I don't think you have to do that. I think at that point the rest is profit.
Yeah, because
right?
they set the crowdfunding goal was $1 million or $1.5 million. So,
but knowing how like crazy certain laws can be, like I do wonder if there isn't some sort of law or agency somewhere that
but if they well the thing is that there have been historical precedents set where crowdfunding places that did not deliver on what they promised have been taken to court and been sued and been fined and that sort of thing. So there is actually a precedent for that sort of setup. However, that is a little tricky because there's no regulation. It's essentially donation system. So it's not.
It's 100% what it is.
Yeah, it's not. It's not as if it's a non-profit. Now, if it was if they were claiming to do some non-profit work, oh yeah, there's miles of fucking paperwork and regulation on that. Because otherwise, then I could run the Red Cross and make $150,000. Oh wait, the CEO of Red Cross does make $150,000 a year.
Like
that's awkward. That's awkward.
morally speaking, the money should either be returned or used for continued development, right?
See, you fucked up when you said morals, money, and in America.
Yeah.
All in the same sentence.
But the thing is, like, I'm thinking about it, like, it's possible that, like, the crowdfunding company could possibly, like, the company itself that runs whatever service could be in charge of that or whatever. But maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the thing is...
I don't think there's any responsibility there for the crowdfunding site, though. They
Yeah.
gave you a platform that they're not responsible for.
Well, but that's the thing, right? Like, as a crowdfunding company, like, that would give people more confidence in their, because as a, whenever you run that sort of company, you want more people to start using it, and for people to use the site, they have to have confidence in the site and in the companies and products that go through the site. Once people start losing confidence, you start losing participation. So, and that's really, really bad.
I think it's just in their best interest to step up.
Well, and the
So I
thing,
think it is in the interest of the crowdfunding company to do so.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just
the thing
sure.
is that a lot of these crowdfunding sites. Now, first of all, Star Citizen has since moved crowdfunding off of any platforms. They do it solely through their system because here's the thing: if they were doing it, say, through Indiegogo or through Patreon or something like that, those sites do have a path of refund. Part of the reason for moving the donations and or I should say the funding, the backing to their own site, their own platform, is so that they can try to avoid refunds wherever possible. That is I guess the major thing that they try to do, and that's kind of disgusting and made it plainly obvious what they were trying to do, at least to me. But the thing is with a crowdfunding site though, if there is no delivery, they do actually quite well make it apparent that there is a path to refund if your product has not been delivered as promised. And you can
But
get
how
your
long
money
do
back.
they get to do that?
It varies. I think like Indiegogo has like I think 30 days or something like that. Or
30 days for the product not to be delivered?
well, no,
Like a final
it's
product?
30 days from the requested date or something like that. In which case, because they will hold the funds in escrow. From what I understand, or no, I can't honestly I can't remember. Anyway, they usually have some kind of strict language on how to get a refund if the product was not delivered as promised. Yeah, I personally think that Cloud Imperium Games is a ball of ethics violations all over the place. I mean, we've already heard stories about just the toxic atmosphere of that company. But I would still, I'd love to see Star Citizen succeed. I would love to see a game like this. Do they need $117 million? No. Why are they still taking donations? That's the real question I have.
The real interesting thing about this is that, like, I personally, like, I understand why people are doing this because, like, I want this concept. I've wanted this concept to be a thing for a very, very long time. And the reason why I know it hasn't become a thing is because it would be so ridiculously expensive to produce
Mm-hmm.
in, like, fully fledged, right? Which they're probably not going to do.
Yeah.
But to really flesh out this sort of idea, you need a lot of money, a lot of development, and honestly, not a lot of promise of profit. So, like, I can understand why people are throwing money at this kind of thing because it's the only way that something like this would actually happen.
Yeah.
However, the company that is currently doing it probably is not the company that is going to actually complete this concept.
Yeah, no. Like I said, the developers of Elite Dangerous, I could see them as being ones that would be better equipped and better able to complete the concept that is Star Citizen.
Yeah, at this point, totally.
Yeah, because those guys, like, they've caught some flack, like whenever they did their Horizons update or whatever. They definitely caught some negative publicity for that. But overall, they've done their best to try to make it right, and do their best by their customers. Which, I mean, game dev studios fuck up all the time. The true measure of if you fuck up is, do you go the Gearbox route, and pretty much just throw your dick on the table and say what? That's what Gearbox did with Aliens Colonial Marines.
The Ubisoft or Warner Brothers route.
Yeah, that's what Gearbox did. Is they literally said, people were like, man, Aliens Colonial Marines is a really fucking bad game. What did you guys do? And literally the CEO was like, Borderlands, fuck off. That's literally their response. Like, that is not, no. And they wondered why their attempt at competing with Overwatch failed. Because nobody likes Gearbox as a company.
Oh yeah, that was Gearbox too, wasn't
right,
it?
the Gearbox Borderlands was just a game people liked. Yeah. I don't like Borderlands very much, but a lot of people really like Borderlands. But people hate Gearbox, so they're not going to try the new IP. If you put out another Borderlands, people will probably play it.
Yeah. If it was made by Blizzard, people would play it. Or Apple. If Apple made Battleborn...
Oh, God, Apple.
They would have millions of players.
At this point, Apple could piss in a cup, tell you it's apple juice, and people will buy it.
Do you know if the Borderlands, if the Gearbox team changed between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2?
Not sure. They probably hired some people, because, Borderlands 1 was a hit, so you typically expand.
Right, that's the thing, right?
Your budget gets bigger.
And I'm wondering, because, I think Borderlands 2 is good, but I don't think it captures the same feeling that the original Borderlands did, which is, the design... the designs seem different in a couple of very key ways, which is why I was wondering. Because, Gearbox, as a company, I'm not a massive fan of, but the original Borderlands, I love. So, And Borderlands 2 was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was just a different kind of fun.
Well, the thing is that when you get a company that's kind of like Gearbox or Cloud Imperium Gaming that has a rather negative, I guess you could say a negative spin on their personal mentality, that tends to hurt their overall image. And as a result, they tend to not get as much popularity. The problem I see with Star Citizen is I feel like a lot of people are kind of have that sunk cost fallacy that you see with a lot of free-to-play titles. Well, I've spent so much damn money into this game, and there's no refunds according to the terms of service, so I might as well try to force it to happen by sinking more money into it. And obviously, a lot of these people have more money than sense. Yeah, when you're sinking $3,000 into a crowdfunding campaign for a game that may not ever happen...
That's obsession at that point.
Yeah, okay, if I donate $100 in there, that is me saying to that developer. Now, there's a lot of people that have a lot of affluence that they can spread around to, and there's a lot of people I know of that have pretty big bank accounts that will go to different, not necessarily crowdfunding, but they will invest. They will spread around and say, hey, I'm going to use my wealth to help push ideas that I like forward. That's the way it works.
Right.
And so there are going to be rich people that will put... Yeah, that's how Apple works. You're right, Siphon. That's
how a lot of companies, even
that's how Google
Apple
works, though. That's how Google works.
That's why companies have boards of directors.
Yeah. Well, if you look at Google, say with phone blocks, that the modular phone thing, supposedly they're starting to release models to developers this fall, by the way. Excited about that. But they thought phone blocks was a great concept, a great idea. They just outrightly bought them. But when you have people that have large bank accounts, they become investors because they want a ROI, a return on investment.
Facts.
Whereas crowdfunding is usually people that aren't able to invest a large amount of money, usually nickels and dimes here and there, and it's more about the amount of people, the crowd, donating small bits to amount to a larger goal. And there's no expectation of a return on that. You're donating into the $3,000 range, you're starting to get into the investor range. And you're kind of being silly at that point, because at that point, I would start wanting to look at a return of that $3,000 investment. Get $5, $10, $20,000 invested into something. I'm gonna start wanting investment back. Once that's launched, and that person will never see it. That's kind of my thing. Any final thoughts on Cloud Imperium Gaming's being a bunch of raging ass hats and Star Citizen being vaporware?
Or unfinished games.
I mean,
Fuck day one.
Well, I mean,
there's unfinished games.
No, there's a certain degree where, like, for example, Divinity: Original Sin, great fucking crowdfunding, and people that paid for that, they got what they were promised. Good on the guys that made that.
Didn't they do that with Pillars also?
Yes, that was Obsidian with Pillars of Eternity. Fucking spot on. Or was that BlackRock? I can't remember. Or BlackRock. I don't know.
It was Obsidian. It was
Obsidian. But yeah,
and they're going to do people like Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, exactly. So it is a gamble. My thing is whenever someone says they need $1 million, and you give them $117 million, and they're still asking for money, red flag. Anyway, let's get moving on. Let's get moving on to more rantiness. Apparently,
it's par for the course for whatever their name is. I don't even remember their name.
Yeah, nobody wants to remember their name.
Cloud Imperium.
It doesn't matter what their name is.
But on more rantiness, this is great, and this is something that Travis once upon a time, or in the future at some point in time, will also have a lot of say on, because he's currently researching and on the back burner building a new computer.
Which you've been doing for like 2 years.
Yeah, he's been doing it for 2 years.
She's on your side, by the way. Just saying, she's on your side.
He went and bought guns instead of buying a new computer.
He didn't even buy a gun. It's not even a full gun. It's just a piece of a gun. He's like, I'm going to build the rest. I'm like, oh, like your computer?
Ooh, shots fired.
Oh, no.
Well, your girl takes shots at you, though. In the middle of the podcast.
Wait, yeah, who's throwing shots at him? At Minecrafter, saying making some jokes.
I'm just gonna go buy a graphics card and set them on a shelf next to each other.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so in any case, this guy on this website that I'm not even going to talk about because I don't want to even give this website ad revenue.
No, I want to, because I want to make fun of the website too.
Yeah, the website's called Motherboard.
To the comedy.
The website's called Motherboard. Okay, but don't go to that website because don't give him your clicks.
Into the U.
Well, I mean, Total Biscuit shit on him pretty hard too.
By the way, Kat on Twitch, be wary. Nightbot is our robot overlord. Anyway, so here's the thing: is that this website, this Motherboard website, this guy wrote an article about how PC gaming is still too hard. Here's the thing. How can there be shots fired? He doesn't even have the whole gun. Anyway, so the thing is that he first off starts the article. First segment of the article, he starts by listing two of the biggest PC myths. That in order to build a PC, you have to have unlimited budget, and you have to have what was the other one on there? I don't even remember at this point. I got stuck.
An unreasonable amount of time to research, shop around, and assemble parts for your computer.
Well, no, there was a third one on there that I was mainly looking at.
Get used to the idea that this is something you're going to have to keep investing money and time into.
That's it. The yearly updates.
Cutting edge and recommended specifications.
The yearly updates bullshit.
And this whole article is bullshit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. First of all, this guy talks about unlimited, needing unlimited budget, and talks about I had to research and find the best graphics card price per performance. I got the 1070. Motherfucker then goes and buys a Maximus 8 Hero, one of the more expensive motherboards on the market. That's what
dude. They do. They go buy about $500 motherboard. Oh, PC gaming is expensive.
Yeah, it's like
my motherboard is $500.
Well,
yeah. Like that's and then he buys like an 850 watt PSU when the entire rated like stress test rated power usage of his entire rig was less than 500 watts. So he also overbought like crazy on the power supply. And
About
like
800 watt power supply. PC gaming is too expensive.
yeah, like it literally this guy obviously has done zero research. Which is why, of course, I made the subtitle When Journalists Don't Understand Journalism. So, for anybody that doesn't understand journalism, one of the principles of journalism is researching your fucking topic. Use my little indignation here.
It's also part of not being a moron.
Yeah, like
The more you know.
before you open your damn mouse. Am I German now? I'm starting to slip into a German accent apparently and pronouncing my THs like S's. Before you open your mouth, you should know what you're talking about, especially when you're writing an article that someone might think is factual. Now, there were some things in that article that I do agree with and I do want to highlight, which is part of the reason why I want to talk about this story for a moment here, is that he was saying that a lot of times the pre-built PC market, they do upcharge like crazy for pre-built PCs.
You do, but that's what you get for buying a pre-built PC.
And there are some cases where certain, this also comes in another part where he was a moron, that certain types of configurations can be complicated and tricky to figure out. The main one where I go with that is, so he also, part of his justification for PC gaming being too hard is he was having a difficulty installing the water cooler. He was having to do multiple things at once with the water cooler, with the fucking water cooler. Most rigs don't have a fucking water cooler. Most are push pin coolers that you literally click, done.
Water cooler. So like those things that they have in office hallways.
Yes, that's his water cooler. That was his terminology, by the way.
To his rig.
That was actually his terminology. His Corsair H800 or H100i was a water cooler.
I know what you're talking about, but
yeah,
when I hear water cooler, that's what I think.
I can't really dispute that. But the thing is that his liquid cooler that he had in there, he was having to do multiple things at once. Oh my god, multitasking.
You know,
Will you chalk this up to don't be stupid?
Something about this that's interesting is that, like, it's accepted that we have to upgrade our cell phones every couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this it becomes obsolete, and it seems like in a lot of ways, like the cell phone upgrading cycle moves even faster than the PC upgrading cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, depending on the user, right? But oftentimes that seems to be the case. So it's weird how PC gaming still has this stigma of having to upgrade on a certain, on a time frame.
It's because people don't understand PC hardware, or they think every time a graphics card comes out, they have to have the newest one. You have to play at ultra settings. You have to play at 80 frames per second. So if you have to play at 4K.
Yeah, if you go to a lot of like say if you're like the PC builders page on Facebook, you get a lot of people that are like, you have to have, first of all, you split off into the AMD versus NVIDIA. Some of the people are like, oh my god, you have to have AMD because NVIDIA are corporate, fuck, rah, rah. And then they'll do the same thing for NVIDIA and back and forth, whatever. But then you have to have the 1070, the 1080. There's nothing lower. You're not allowed to have, you have to have an i7, even though it's fucking useless for most gaming rigs. You have to have it.
It's like when you talk to, say, console gamers about PC gaming too.
Yeah, that's what they think because that's what they see. That's this outward appearance that gets put out. Like go and see the pictures of these guys' rigs, and you've got guys that have like, the triple monitor setup. They've got LED string lights around their fucking desk. They have like
the triple 1080s in SLI.
Yeah, well, that you can't do that.
You can. It's just unsupported.
Well, no, you physically can't do it in SLI.
They got a port on the side where they can pour in jet fuel.
Yeah. No, it's Liquid Schwartz. And that reference goes quiet for a minute.
Hmm.
Look, it's glowing. They've gone to plaid. Anyway, so in any case, yeah, no, like, I feel like, yeah, like a lot of times they like, for example, the 1050 will be released at some point in the future. They haven't really announced anything about it, but and so will the 470 and the 460. And those
Well,
games
the 470 and 460 have already been announced.
they've been announced, not released though.
Yeah, they're coming out in the next month or so.
Yeah, and the 1050 will be around there as well, and those are going to be in the in this
$100.
yeah, they're going to be the sub $100, probably 150 round there. Those are going to be for a lot of your lower end budget systems. Hell, the 460 is probably going to be around $100 to $125. That's going to be it's going to be great.
They're marketing it as a great CS:GO card.
Yeah, exactly, because it'll run a lot of your games, maybe more basic games or moderate demand games at good settings, and then your more demanding games at low. The thing is that nobody will pay attention to those. They only care about the 480, the 490, 1070, the 1080, the 1080 Ti. They only care about those top-notch ones. Mm-hmm. And Zyphon, if you're having difficulty getting your Schwartz twisted, you might want to go see a doctor. Just my advice. But in any case, so the major thing on there is that you never hear, you only get the selected view in public. And I believe that caters to this myth that, first of all, PC gamers have to have, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 rigs. And then the second myth is that they always have to have the newest upgrades.
And they always have the ultra settings, best everything.
I've got to have 4K monitors and whatever. It's like, I heard some guy saying, I want 4K, someone was like, hey, I want 4K at 60 frames. And someone was like, well, that's not good enough for me. I want my 4K at 100 frames per second. It's like, there's not even any monitors that can take advantage of that yet.
Right. Actually, that's the reason I bought the monitor I have is I was, for those of you that don't know, I got my 1440p monitor a few months ago. Mm-hmm. I was looking at a 4K monitor, but I was like, I kind of want those higher frame rates, so I went to 1440.
Yeah.
But I'm also being told constantly that my 970 can't do 1440p or 4K gaming.
I think that's silly. Now, 4K might struggle a little bit at 4K.
It'll struggle, but when I hear the argument, people always say, oh, but you can't do it with Crysis. You can't do it with The Witcher. Actually, despite people, and I'm going to do this video at some point, I can play The Witcher at 60 frames per second, no hair works, 1440p, 60 frames per second, and medium settings on a single 970.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Well, the thing is, though, and coming back on the topic, and this we're gonna open up and try to get Travis and company.
Really? And company? No name, just and company.
Well, because
we know Rachel's the life of the party, but still.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that unfortunately, there's only one name above there. I'm gonna have to edit the overlay to say and Rachel.
We don't want to say Rachel and Death Shroud.
Yes.
Hey,
but,
at least I have a laptop that can support things.
Oh. Anyway, so we're gonna open up here. If you guys were to rework briefly, an article about the difficulties of PC gaming or building a PC or in general PC gaming, with research and knowledge, because Travis, even though you haven't built your computer yet, you've still had to do some research on the topic. And I know that Rachel has also probably done more research on it than you have because she wants it done more than you do.
She's going to build a League PC, facts, before Travis does.
So
maybe MLG at League.
So you remember those changes mentioned in September? By the way, that was replacing Travis with Rachel on here because she's the actual gamer. But in any case, no, I'm kidding. I kid. But in any case, how would you guys kind of rework? What do you guys see as being legitimate difficulties in PC gaming, though? Essentially, we're doing this journalist job for him in actually having researched PC gaming and what difficulties there actually are. And
I think Morty. I think the problem is you and I work in IT. We have an unfair advantage in this.
Yeah.
Where I would honestly say, the hardest part sometimes is just the troubleshooting, but that's a Google search most of the time.
Well,
And that's if I don't know what the problem is offhand. Like
if
when I saw the power supply last summer, I was playing GTA 5 and it just come out. Oh, my computer died. Like randomly as I was playing.
mhm.
First thing I thought was my power supply. It wasn't even like, let me look around. Like power supply. Went out the next day, got a power supply. It's back to life. Like without thinking about it.
Well,
Sometimes I had an issue with Street Fighter V opening a few months ago. Found out it was a compatibility issue with it and my virus software. Whitelisted it in the virus software. Back to life. It's little stupid shit like that.
well, the thing is, and the reason why I put it at this, yes, we have an unfair advantage working in IT, but I mean, let's be honest there. If you look at a legitimate news organization, a political correspondent, what do? They eat, sleep, breathe politics. You know, so just because we work on computers all day, that actually makes us better qualified than most of the schmucks that are writing computer articles right now on
Well, I
what
mean,
legitimately are the problems.
well, that's the thing about modern, a lot of modern day journalism type stuff is that
Blogging.
well, like yeah, outright lying. But I was
Oh
going
no,
to
no,
say,
I said blogging, as in
blogging, yeah,
opinion
blogging.
pieces that are not
No, I
validated.
agree. I agree with more Travis's
There's
point
a
of
problem with
outright lying.
a lack of research and a lack of posting, sources of said research.
IGN.
And she knows
Polygon.
more about like the journalism thing than I do, so maybe she should talk about that.
Well, you
Listen,
guys,
I feel like the article was carried out illogically. Me being that like I can't build anything, or because it would just not have the right outcome if I did. I would.
Can you do
If I was
Legos?
trying to write an article, I would talk to people who actually knew what they were doing.
Rachel,
Like,
can you legit put together Legos or
uh,
like build like an IKEA chair or desk or something?
okay, IKEA is like playing Tetris in space. Like, no.
yeah, IKEA
Okay.
is not a good example of this. Let's put it this way: the thing is that the resources available to PC building, like YouTube videos and that sort of thing,
Like, I mean,
anybody
that's
could build
point.
it.
Like, I would Google, YouTube. Like, there's, I don't know. It's illogically written. Apparently, somebody had an agenda out for PC.
hmm But as far as from a journalistic standpoint, how would you approach, like, despite not being good at it? So you would find someone else to query about it,
Well,
but then
yeah,
how would you approach the actual article? Like, I guess one of the things that I look at whenever I look at journalism is, I was always taught in ethical journalism, you always found three sources from different places. And he cited one source, which was a guy he worked with, a buddy. that's not. That's like
So
saying,
basically, a fellow peasant.
yeah. Well, no, he was actually a guy that did the technology, the PC technology stuff, and of course that means he's going to probably be an enthusiast. Hence why the dude ended up with a fucking Hero Maximus motherboard.
Um,
yeah.
I would probably start off with someone from the podcast, to be honest. Then I would move on to a family member who is actually into that sort of thing, and I would probably find kind of a more outside source, someone, and kind of compare the different opinions and advice given to me, and then Google it to see which one's the most ethical approach.
Yeah, or at least the least biased, because I mean, we know that Kev, he is a huge AMD fanboy. And he's also a Sony pony. He loves his
Another thing
PlayStation
is
console.
that I
Giddy
know
up!
with like talking to a family member, I know that they would probably most likely not be like someone trying to force something more expensive upon me.
Yes.
That's the funny thing about this.
Can we talk about the fallacy of PC gaming being expensive?
Yeah,
It's
no.
actually cheaper than console gaming for the most part.
Let me stop in there and just throw it out there. it depends on your family though, Rachel, because let's be honest. Sometimes they might, if they know you have the budget, they might suggest you get something more expensive
this
because they
family
want to play it.
knows that I don't have the budget.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying is that they might do that because they want to play it, right? Because they know.
Actually, that would probably be even better approach to say, listen, this is my budget. I have X amount of dollars.
That's usually the first question I ask anybody who wants to build a PC. I say, well, what's your budget?
Yeah,
Right.
that's the first question you should ask.
Yeah.
What's your budget? What do you
I
play?
would probably put that in the article and be like, this was the budget that I had.
Because that guy like cites PC gaming as being expensive, and he spent over $2,000 on the PC. That is ridiculous. I can build a PC with a 1080 in it for $1,500.
Because I
Yeah,
did.
we cited the build guide because I get so many console gamers come to me on my channel. PC gaming is expensive because you can't build a PC on a console budget. So I legit did a video. You can build a PC on a console budget and play whatever game you want to if you want to.
Yeah.
Of course, then I got the argument
What?
the Xbox One is cheaper, but my PC is cheaper than a PS4.
Yeah, but what were you saying, Travis?
I didn't read the article because I'm lazy.
If you admit
frankly.
At least someone did.
Right, at least somebody did, and that moves me to my question. In the article, when he built his PC, did he build his PC like with the intention of writing this article?
Yes.
Or is this article a reaction to him overpaying
No,
for his PC build and him being salty about it? Like
he
those
wrote
people who overpay for stuff and then go rant on YouTube about
No,
it?
he built the PC with the intention of writing this article. Something else that he...
I don't know if that's even worse.
Well, and where I was going is now some of the difficulties with building a PC that I will agree with to an extent is he did complain that with his Asus Maximus 8 Hero motherboard, this $250 like enthusiast board that's meant to look pretty. It's not. I mean, it has a lot of good functionality, but it's meant to be pretty. It's got like armor on it and shit.
horse armor.
Yeah, it's got horse armor. Let's just leave it at that for all you Bethesda fans out there. This is a motherboard with horse armor.
Yes.
So he then says it comes with like a 250-page manual. He says that none of it gives him any explanation on how to build the PC. Well, yes, because it's a motherboard. It gives you all of the information, the power phase design, that sort of thing, because it's an enthusiast motherboard, which means a lot of the stuff contained in the manual is going to be enthusiast tools, like what overclocking things you can do in the BIOS and that sort of thing. Things that a normal PC gamer is not going to mess with at all.
Or here's a better one. If you're an enthusiast, chances are you already know how to build a PC.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that even still, one of the complaints he did have is that, and this is not really something that's clear cut on where the responsibility would lie, is that you have to go to YouTube or other places. There's nowhere that really gives you an example of how to build a PC. It's like, well,
Though you have people streaming themselves building a fucking PC.
yeah, and I actually, for my PC coming up, I actually intend on actually putting together a video of me building it, just because I want to show people I'm going to build an enthusiast PC. It's going to have lights and flashy things and blinky things. It's going to be complicated as shit. And I'm going to show people
Get the fuck out.
it's going to have water cooling. I'm going to have a Kraken in there. And
Nice.
I'm going to show people that it is complicated. Now, if I would get in, I would want to actually possibly get into a custom loop cooler in there, just to show people that that's not even that complicated.
JC Sense has some good guides on that too.
Yeah, it's like that's not even that's considered to be advanced, and that's not complicated. The point is, though, is that he had some issues, like, for example, how to properly install his liquid cooler, or water cooler, as he called it.
Listen, if I was doing that, I would Skype somebody and be like, look, this looks like R2-D2 crashed all over my floor. Everything's
That's
falling
a reasonable.
apart. I need some help
That's a
here."
reasonable thing to say.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know much about water cooling. I can put in like a say if it was like a pre-built cooling loop. I could probably do that, like the CPU cooler or whatever.
well, like
I can probably do that.
the amazing thing is
But
he
that's
had
the
a
one I'm
Corsair
not doing.
H100i which actually it's just like a stock CPU cooler in the fact that it has the pre-applied thermal paste. So you don't even have to worry about the thermal paste on there. You literally just stick it on, snap it into place.
H100i?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it was the H100i that he had on there.
That's a power supply.
You know,
No. Corsair H100i is a liquid cooler, isn't it? Or maybe I'm getting my numbers mixed up.
You're mixing your numbers. Okay, I googled it because I don't memorize part numbers. Yeah, that's a power supply. That's the 1,000-watt power supply.
No, that's the HX1000i that you're talking about. That's Corsair's. HX is their. No, it's the H100i. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, you're right. I see it. I see it now.
Anyway,
this was a blog, right?
Yeah. Well, no. This is my problem. Is that these legitimate news sites? The more you look at them, the more they all start to look like blogs.
This is just a heatsink. Literally, you just put on like any other heatsink and screw it to the top of your case.
You got it, Kev. Right there. You got it.
To expand upon the simplicity of actually building the PC, I remember back when I was more into Dota 2 than I am currently, there was a streamer, kind of like a comedy streamer called Sir Action Slacks, and he started getting more of a following, and he got people donated to get him a PC build, right? So once he got all the money and the parts together, he streamed himself drunkenly putting together the PC with the assistance of a guy on a phone, like on a Skype call. He made it work. And he made it work. And it's really not that difficult. It's like a lot of it's plug and play, just like snap stuff together.
Yep.
Can we talk about Terry Crews for a minute? Because he came out this week, said I'm joining the PC Master Race after he was at the EA.
That's because that guy had he had his eyes opened at
right. He
playing.
Really did, but he bought all his own shit.
Mm-hmm.
He put it together himself.
Well, he's not. He hasn't put it together yet. He is.
My understanding was he's putting it together now.
Was that he's mechanically challenged and can't understand shapes and wires.
I tell people all the time, if you can change a car tire, you can build a PC. The car tire is a little more complicated.
I can't build a PC.
Let's be honest. This is the way it's gonna be. Travis is gonna get all these parts for his PC, right?
He's gonna become Rich's PC.
And guess who's going to end up building it?
And playing it.
Let's be real here. Travis is going to be like, I want to go to the shooting range and shoot my one half of a gun.
I didn't have a gun. He just has a part.
I want to shoot one half of a gun.
Where is that piece? Like it's just like a little.
It's a
lower receiver, and I don't have a lower receiver for it yet. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. In any case, though, I think my major thing is if I were completely computer illiterate, and I were a journalist, an ethical fucking journalist. Yes, I have to add that enunciation in there because reasons.
Because people aren't ethical anymore?
Yeah, no, I rarely encounter them. Like Danny O'Dwyer is one of the few gaming journalists that actually still strikes me as ethical. But
yeah, I really like Danny O'Dwyer.
But and he's a good Irishman, so props, mate. But in any case, though, one of the things that I would start with is like doing a real quick Google search of common misconceptions about PC gaming. Because I would start off as a cynical person, I would start off with the common misconceptions first and dispelling those. As I am a new person coming in here, here's some common misconceptions I had about gaming. And okay, people say these are myths. Well, let me go through the process here and see if they are myths or not. Is it expensive? I ask around, ask a bunch of people, do some research. People are going to likely have, PC part picker suggestions on websites. I go there. I found out I can build a $500 computer. Well, that's not as expensive as I thought. Bam, that's dispelled. Oh, do I have to upgrade every year? I ask around and found out that there's still people playing with their 760s or 770s. There's 650
or
Ti boosts.
660s. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Wait, how old is that PC, Morty? Like 4 years old now?
Yeah, 4 years old. I'm still getting.
It was like it was kind of low end when you got it.
Yeah, it was a budget build when I got it. It was 600. I mean, it's higher end on the budget scale, but it was a
Right.
$600 PC, and it's playing Overwatch 1080p, 60 frames per second. Yeah, I don't have all the settings max, but it's actually, maxes out most of them, and that's on a 4-year-old budget PC.
But people are gonna say, "Oh, but you can't play The Witcher."
No, I
The
can
same
play.
way they told me I couldn't play The Witcher at 1440p.
Yeah, I can play The Witcher. Now the catch is The Witcher. I do have to scale that down to 900p in order to get it high enough to where I feel it's the best balance between frame rates, resolution, and the graphical fidelity. But yeah, in any case, though, that's like a myth busted right there. Oh, you have to have the newest parts. No, I've been taking my time. I've been waiting for this.
You said you were going to get a Fury when they came out last year,
And then I saw the reviews, and I was like, yeah, that's not really what I was looking for.
right? And that's my point. Like, you don't have to upgrade. Like,
No.
You particularly taking your time. Where I'm sitting here, I'm waiting to see what the 490 is because my 970, I'm just like, I want some with a little better 1440p performance.
Yep, and
I can do
I will.
1440p.
I'm looking at the 490 or the next iteration of the Fury, whatever the Vega 10 cards. Those are what I've been waiting for. Is the TI flagship model, TI of the 10 series, and the Vega 10. I predicted. I said way back last year when they were first announced the Polaris and Vega roadmap, I said we're going to see the Polaris cards come out, and they are going to not be a huge improvement on performance, but a huge improvement on efficiency. They're going to be a lot better power-wise. And I was like, then the Vega cards, those are going to be the huge improvement in performance. So that's why the 490 or Fury or whatever it's going to be called, those would be the cards I'd look at. And the same thing with the 1080 Ti.
Right. For me, I just want something that'll play nice with my FreeSync monitor.
Yeah, those are, at least 6 months to 8 months out. Whatever the case on there. But yeah, that's where I'd start. I would start with looking up myths, deliberately looking up common misconceptions about gaming, and then starting with that as my baseline of, okay, here's common misconceptions about gaming that people are saying are misconceptions. Which ones of these do I have? Oh, PC gaming is expensive. Yeah, I've heard a lot about PC gaming being expensive. That sort of thing.
I would go as far as saying console gaming
can
be more expensive than PC gaming.
What I'm saying is that, if I were a person ignorant on PC gaming and I was a journalist, a proper fucking journalist, that's where I would start, is misconceptions. Then I would see if those misconceptions are real or not through the course of me building this PC. And then by the end, kind of like
console being expensive. I went to a private prep school of rich preppy kids, and they did not play PCs. They played consoles.
That's because that's what they it's a status symbol, right? So here's the thing, is that it depends on the fancy prep school you go to, though. So there are some fancy prep schools now where the status symbol is actually PC gaming because of this newer PC Master Race thing. Whenever I was going to school, that was not the case because PC gamers were geeks. They were the nerds.
Geeks, nerds, virgins, nobody liked them.
The pocket protectors and sunglasses with a tape on the bridge. Those were the PC gamers. They were the D&D players. God, stay away from them. You were cool if you had a console, and that still kind of stuck with it. Is that console has been more of a socially acceptable platform, despite more people being on PC. Those rich kids, I would not be surprised. Those rich kids in the platform, there may be a gaming PC in their household.
It would be surprised.
I think. Do your kids play your PC, or what do they play?
They mostly play on my Xbox One.
Exactly.
But I think that also comes to, like, my oldest actually wants to build a PC with me.
Yeah.
So we're looking at parts right now to do a PC build, and we've been talking about it for a while. I just wanted to finish school first.
Yeah,
So now we're actually looking at parts and doing it.
but you see a lot of cases though. A lot of
I
parents.
see a lot of kids want PCs now. Like that's the thing now. But a lot of parents necessarily won't buy them a PC, or they think it's too complicated, too hard. They might break it, or parents are afraid of what they'll do on the internet. Which I understand. Not everybody's great with computers.
Mhm.
But
I tell you what.
I think the internet's making a big change for it too.
Yeah.
Because people beforehand, like Travis, I don't know how well you remember. I know me and Morty probably remember this. The internet wasn't really a thing for gaming until like halfway into last gen.
Yeah. Like,
And
well, no,
before
I
that,
mean,
it was word of
Xbox
mouth.
360. Xbox 360 made a huge push into that. The original
Right.
Xbox, the original
I don't
Xbox
mean
had
on-
online functionality, but it was
That-
not good.
That's not quite what I mean. What I mean as far as, okay, we can see this. Like YouTube came up in 2006, where now, we can see these games side by side. We can see the advantages. We can see, like, somebody can physically show it to us instead of us going off of word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because, before you didn't know a lot of PC gamers. Now, if you don't know them, look it up on YouTube.
Yep.
And I think that's where the big difference is. Now people can see, okay, CSGO looks great. I want to play CSGO. I want to play games at 1080p, 60 frames per second, or 4K or whatever. That looks great. Oh shit, Steam sales.
If you want,
I didn't know much about PC gaming until Joe started showing me stuff.
yeah. Well,
I'm
let's get real there. The most important part is, of course, owning a white toga, your hair turning white, and your skin turning a nice golden bronze. That's the most important. Kev knows where I'm going with that.
They already did it to Terry Crews, man.
Yep.
You saw the GIF.
Yep.
Him flexing with the PC Master Race hair. It was glorious.
Yep. So
What I was going to say earlier about kids getting into PCs is that I noticed with like Minecraft was huge in that because once you start getting on like large servers and getting in like heavily modded Minecraft, the PC specs get really, really high for that game.
Yep.
And I noticed while I was playing that actually got a lot of the younger crowd very interested in building higher-end PCs.
Well,
That's what my son wants to do. He wants to mod Minecraft.
Well, it's not just that. Like, you have parents that are building hand-me-down computers that are just for Minecraft servers. They're not necessarily for playing the Minecraft. You then have the gaming PC for playing Minecraft, but the kind of run-down basic computer for just being the server. And,
Right. That's actually, speaking of parents, that's kind of what I'm doing even with my son. I'll probably shoot my 970 to him, which is why I want to see where the 490 is going, and probably put like a 490 or the new Fury in my rig because I have that FreeSync monitor.
Exactly. But yeah. In any case, though, any final thoughts on journalistic ethics and how lack thereof, or PC gaming myths, and how people can't seem to get rid of them?
No, we gotta get in this last story. We have like 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Listen, if they don't have only one source, obviously.
Yeah.
Right, and this whole story was just bullshit, which is why I pulled the story up and just wanted to make fun of this guy.
The funny thing is that before I even checked the notes, I was commenting on that story on Facebook, and then I checked the notes. I was like, I've already read this. I already know exactly what the fuck this is about. Yeah. But in any case, so our last one. So Bethesda. This is very, very odd. So in Fallout 4's newest DLC, Far Harbor, there's a quest titled Brain Dead, which bears an unnerving similarity to a user-created mod from Fallout New Vegas called Autumn Leaves. While obviously the IP is owned by Bethesda, so they can really do whatever they want with user-created mods, do you think it was ethical for them to directly plagiarize a mod without giving the modder at least some credit, or even going so far as they did to deny the influence?
No, sir, I don't like it. That's my stance.
Travis, Rachel?
Yeah, I don't...
should we call you guys Trachel
understand.
or Travel? That doesn't sound right.
Like,
I like Ravis.
Unless...
Ravis. There we go.
So,
Darth Ravis. There we go. Now we've got it right. Welcome to the Sith Empire. Embrace the dark side.
the thing about this is, like, from a business standpoint, and like you're better on like IP law than I am, so you can tell me whether or not there is any legal danger to Bethesda saying, yeah, we used your idea. If as long as there's no danger in that aspect, from a business standpoint, I don't understand why they would not give this person credit. Like that can only help your business.
So
And it kind of makes you look like a dick when you think about it.
So-
we know this came out of New Vegas. You lifted it, denied it. If you would have said, hey, because Fallout 4 is almost all mod inspired from mods from Skyrim and
the construction mod
Fallout 3.
was another mod that was like the putting things together like they do in Fallout 4. There was a mod for, I think it was New Vegas, that was also kind of that same kind of construction concept.
Right, Fallout 4. Like I said, Fallout 4 is basically just inspired by mods.
Yeah,
which is great. Give the modding community props.
From giving a shout out to your modding community and being look,
that's nothing but good PR.
Here's the thing.
Good PR.
So first of all, I do want to start off with a disclaimer. I am by no means considered an expert in any sort of fashion on IP law or copyright law, anything of that nature. I want to make sure that anybody watching, anybody in the conversation is very clear.
You're better than I am at
it. But I just want to make that known and clear that I could not be considered an expert by any stretch of the imagination. However, with that said, I do understand some things about legal precedent. So again, we come back to the first story of the terms of service and how frequently those get thrown out in court. Bethesda has put explicitly in their terms of service for using the creation kit and using modding in their game that they reserve the right to actually implement those mods into future iterations of that game or other games. So legally, I mean, yes, they are legally covered in that sense, in the fact that, they couldn't use that mod. In fact, the modder himself was like, cool. That makes me happy that one of the developers played my mod and liked it enough to put it into the game as an official part of Fallout 4. However, it's like you couldn't be like, shout out to this guy for influencing that. No, they even they could even be creative in it and name like one of the robots him.
Right.
Like that would
give
be
the guy at least a little bit of props.
Yeah, give him, immortalize him a little bit for giving that. Now, he himself said that this is not so a lot of people were saying that the story, the concept, the plot of this mod and the quest are by no means new. It's kind of a whodunit murder mystery. And if you just throw it out in giving that context, yes, that's not by any means new. The modder himself said that he took inspiration from a number of sources that are very well known and could have easily influenced Bethesda in making this. However, when you actually see, when you first walk into you go and interact and how you get the quest, you talk to to one of the robots through an intercom console that looks almost identical to the Autumn Leaves mod. When you walk into the vault itself is not anything unique. There's tons of vaults in Fallout, right? Mm-hmm. But when you walk into the vault and you reach this atrium, you're like, this atrium is literally almost the exact same thing copy and pasted from Autumn Leaves. There's very minute changes. And the progression of the story through there is very similar. It's not just the plot that was copied. There's very similar elements that were directly copied from that Autumn Leaves mod that weren't invented by another story. Like I said, it would have been simple. All they had to do is say maybe the progenitor that died that you're investigating the murder mystery of, name him after the modder. It would have been that simple. He is immortalized. Dude would have been stoked. He would have been bragging to his friends that's me. That's me in there. He would have been happy as a clam.
Yeah.
And there would have been publicity about it. I mean, let's be honest. If all the news sites can go on for weeks about fucking Dragon Age Inquisition having, holy shit, there's a transgender character in here who feels the need to throw it in your face every 30 seconds that he's transgender. I'm pretty certain that they would go on for weeks about Bethesda giving a shout out to a modder that did something they liked.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like Bethesda has been pushing for like the whole mods on console thing,
But they don't
really,
give
really
credit.
hard.
They at the same time
They don't get credit. They're very clear.
they
They're my
feel
mods.
they feel entitled to their modding community, and I
Like, to the
think
point
that's
where
a
they
dangerous thing.
said that which car they used them to advertise the game.
Yeah, I feel like that's the dangerous thing is that they feel entitled to their modding community, and I feel like that is very, very dangerous territory to get in, because then you're starting to get into Gearbox territory, right? Feel entitled to your fan community because of Borderlands. No, Borderlands does not give you a free ticket to fuck up all you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say this, but like I go back to the whole legal portion of this, because I know companies that really get weird about using user and community created content in their future releases.
Yeah.
Catalyst Game Labs, that makes the Shadowrun tabletop RPG is like that. They've basically told their forum users like not to post their ideas or whatever, because they can't use anything. Like if anything gets like posted on the forums, they can't use it in any future stuff.
Well, I mean, you also have companies like, now granted this is very long ago, but there was a for Knights of the Old Republic 2, the reason why I've been playing it recently, obviously if anybody hasn't heard the news, that's now a couple months old, I think, or a month old, something like that, is that not Bethesda, God, I'm stuck on that company's name, BioWare, or EA, I should say, hired a company to integrate a user-created mod, fixing a lot of the problems with KOTOR 2, into the game officially. The Content Restored mod is what it's called. They actually officially pushed that out as a patch to the PC version of Knights of the Old Republic 2. So it's no longer a user-created mod. It's an official patch for the game, even though it still shows up as modded in your save files. But that's still, to me, that is about the biggest, like, that modder, or the group of modders that put together their time and effort into that, to see it get the official stamp of approval, even though it was a third-party company that, went through and tested and verified it before they pushed it out, it's still an official stamp of approval. And I think that, like, they felt very, very fulfilled in that, and I kind of feel like that is a good way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
From Bethesda's standpoint,
there was what was it? I forget which game. I think it was one of the Half-Life games that even got like the remaster treatment in a similar type of fashion, where they just took some mods. Valve, of course, got permission and everything, and it became the official version of one of the Half-Life games. I forget which one it was.
So are you talking?
I want to say it was Half-Life 2.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty certain it was. I think I know.
Because it's not Black Mesa. And Black Mesa was the remaster of Half-Life, or the remake, of Half-Life 1.
Yeah.
So it was Half-Life 2.
So let's talk about another way that Bethesda is essentially taking user-created mods, putting them into a game, and calling it their own. Skyrim Remastered.
Oh yeah, they're doing the same thing they did with Fallout. They're actually being a little less obvious about it this time.
Yeah, well, essentially, let's be honest. Now they are doing some new stuff to the game. Now, first of all, they are actually adding in full 64-bit support, which means that you can access larger amounts of memory for mods. So modders actually do have capability to do more of the game, which that's mind-boggling, because the stuff they've been able to do with Skyrim has been fucking phenomenal as is.
And limited to what, 3 gigs of RAM, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is the amount of cheese wheels has increased greatly.
Yes.
Actual.
And you can now spawn in 1 million Sheogoraths before your game crashes.
Yes.
Love it.
But no, like, the thing is
the
that
only thing I have ever wanted. My dreams have come true.
The major thing that they're doing, obviously, is adding mod support for consoles. Of course, assuming that modders actually want to do for consoles, considering the...
but you saw what happened with Fallout 4. They
Yeah.
will take it, they will repost it, they will check a check mark that says PS4, and
Yeah.
then when it breaks their PS4, they'll get mad at the modder.
Yeah, but the major thing on there is that they're also saying, "Ooh, we're adding volumetric god rays and redoing the visuals." It's like, no, you're adding a fucking EMB to the game. Anybody who's played or a texture pack and an EMB, anybody who's modded Skyrim on the PC, that's like the first thing you go for. Is you want
For
to
a
get that
lot of these
4K
games, the first thing I
textures.
go for.
Yeah, you get those 4K textures in there. You add an EMB to give it that beautiful effect. And then you start going in, you add your Frostfall, you add in your Requiem or your Skyry, you add in the Sky UI. If they put in Sky UI into the fucking into the main game for PC, the PC free version, if they add in Sky UI into that and don't fucking credit the modder in that, flipping the fucking table.
I think.
Oh, they won't.
And I'm going off on a tangent. The UI in Skyrim is unforgivable.
Like, honestly,
Absolutely,
it's
terrible.
Have you played with Sky UI on PC?
No.
It completely
PC.
that is like
I
one
know
of
about
the
it, but
required Skyrim mods on PC is Sky UI because
I mean, there are certain mods on PC too that are just like, no, you don't play without this.
Yeah.
Sky UI, the DS fix for the original Dark Souls.
Yeah.
The unofficial patch for Fallout 3. There's just some of these you just don't play without them.
Yeah.
I've got Skyrim on the PC. I just haven't played it because
Yeah, I understand. But the thing is, though, is that the UI was mediocre at best on console. It was absolutely abysmal because they took a controller UI and just ported it to PC, so it was abysmal. Sky UI makes it a mouse and keyboard friendly.
So bad.
Yeah, I hate when they do that, and that's not the only company. I found
myself missing the Oblivion UI in Skyrim.
Yeah. And that's essentially this brings it back to the more tabbed page style of Oblivion and Skyrim, or of Oblivion and Morrowind.
Right.
It was a lot more mouse friendly because let's be honest, those games were a bit more. Well, Oblivion was getting away from it, but Morrowind, that was coming off of Bethesda had only up to that point made PC games. Arena, Daggerfall, Redguard, those were all PC games. And then they're coming to Morrowind. Okay, they're still making it on PC, but now they're including consoles into it. So console was secondary, but holy shit, was it a hit. It sold out crazy on console.
So basically what I'm getting from this is consoles ruin gaming. You heard it here first, people.
Yep, consoles ruin gaming.
Hates consoles.
And that is why on the thumbnail tonight I am featuring the PC Master Race guy. Because it is a glory that everybody should behold.
I still think you should have done the Terry Crews one.
That would be great. Well, Terry Crews isn't the focus of this, though. But yeah, in any case, though, I feel like this was pretty blatant plagiarism. And I only say plagiarism because they didn't credit the guy. I mean, they could have just said, hey, shout out to what's his name. Put his name on one of the NPCs in there. And then it wouldn't be plagiarism. It would just be they're using a mod that was created for their intellectual property. But in any case, let's go ahead and give our final thoughts. What did you say it was? Travis?
Ravis.
Darth Ravis. Give us.
My initial starts it. All right.
Yeah, there we go. So Darth Ravis, give us your final thoughts for the night.
Everyone's being shifty. Bethesda, everything's being shifty.
Part 2 of Ravis. The giggling part of Ravis.
I just looked up the picture of the Terry Crews.
And this
did you get the GIF or did you get the still image?
He got the GIF of the more power explosions. Oh, that was
got
glorious.
The flexing with the hair going.
Yep,
awesome.
yep, it's
right,
fucking great.
Okay, you guys gotta send me that one because I just saw
it's in the Discord chat. It's in the Discord chat.
In the Discord chat. Yeah. Kev, final thoughts.
I want to see the 490. Terry Crews joining the PC Master Race is glorious. Of course, check out my channel. I didn't do many videos last week because they're just this is
peasantry.
Peasantry. there's only one topic that I really wanted to talk about, and I felt it was better suited for this podcast, and we spent most of the podcast talking about it, and that was the motherboard article. So hopefully I'm going to come up with some more content. It's just the summer. It's dry right now, so I am going to come up with more content. It's just been dry over the summer.
Yep. And obviously everybody knows me, Angelus de Mortiel. Obviously, chances are you may be watching this on my channel, or you're watching on Kev's channel, one of the two. Quick shout out to Zyphon on there. You should. He got 100 games on his Steam library that cost the same as 24 games on his 360.
Oh.
Console gamers should just let that sink in for a minute.
We also I hate for this show to go without acknowledging. We hit our 1 year on the 13th of last week. That was like Wednesday or Thursday.
Chronologically, yes. The 13th was our 1 year anniversary. However, I don't really consider it 1 year until we
because this is episode 48.
Yeah, we're on episode 48. So 4 more episodes. It's going to be our 1 year anniversary. But technically, chronologically, yes. The 13th was when we started the Pixel Crashers podcast last year. So congratulations, everybody, for being with us for so long. Jeremy was a scrub and chickened out.
He was replaced by Ravis.
Yeah, he was replaced by first it was Travis, but Travis then learned true power and became Darth Ravis.
And eventually Ravis is going to be replaced by Rachel. That's just how it's going to work.
Anyway.
Listen, I'll be Bethesda and take all the credit.
See, and look at that. The power. It's just power wants more power. It's ambition. But obviously, if you guys are watching this on my channel, you know where I'm at here. If you guys are watching this on Kev's channel, then you can catch us live here on my channel every Sunday night at 7 p.m. However, if you prefer not to see our beautiful faces, or Kev's not so much face tonight, you can catch the video afterwards, usually on Monday, with some gameplay behind it on Kev's channel. And if you're on my channel, there will be a link in the description to his channel as well. There's also a link to our Discord chat if you want to come hang out with us and chat about stuff and see the silly things like our the real life Simpsons in chat that Zyphon posted earlier tonight. You can always come and check that out. The link is in the description of this video down here below. And also, if you're in our Discord, if you see me streaming Monday through Friday, I have a streaming schedule in these videos as well. You are welcome to join me for any of those, because Kev is a scrub and doesn't like to play with Rogue and I when we do Overwatch competitive, or when I play Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Y'all get on too late. I am kind of over Mass Effect, but yeah, y'all be playing too late. We've been playing Mass Effect for 4 years, bro. I need something. Fresh.
And spoiler alert, there's also going to be some Warframe integrated into there as well. So
yeah, I have no patience for grindframe.
Well, no. Now I will say before you go too far, try to give it another shot with a new update that they just did. Supposedly that helps a lot with the early gameplay and the new player experience a lot, because they've given you a better, more story-driven linear route to do things now.
I'm ordering a fight stick and a racing wheel this week, and I plan to be in Forza kicking ass. I plan on being Street Fighter kicking ass. I can't be grind framing.
I'm going to be Winston, and shout out to Joe on here. I'm going to be Winston and adjust my glasses, because that's monkey business there. Like I said...
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the buff to Diva, too.
Right?
They're buffing Diva, and now people are calling her OP.
Well, you know what? I sometimes get confused because, right, so I obviously was streaming my play on the public test realm, the PTR, of me playing Anna and Diva and all that, so I forgot. I have not talked about it. Yes, first of all, Anna, super excited for her to go into Overwatch, and also Diva, the rework seems really good. She's not OP. They have not buffed her damage, so her damage is still very close range base. They just pretty much changed her defense matrix to be a resource rather than that silly time expired thing, whatever.
Right, a defense matrix is actually here.
No, the one that I'm concerned about being potentially too powerful is McCree, because now he already had sniper accuracy before, but he had severe damage fall off. Now, no more.
Didn't he get nerfed?
I still suck with McCree.
He got nerfed. So in the beta, he had near infinite range, so he was literally a sniper. They decided, rightly so, that was a little bit OP, so they nerfed his range he had significant damage fall off at range. So he
But
was
they
much
still-
better.
But Fan the Hammer was still OP.
Yeah, the Fan the Hammer was OP close up. So like people would
They
throw
nerfed
that
that.
flashbang, stun enemies, and then Fan the Hammer and just down tanks like super fast. So they nerfed that. Now he's getting a
But
buff
now-
back
now
to the
he's-
range again.
Right, because now without that Fan the Hammer, he's not very good.
Yeah. But, in any case, though, yeah, that is what it is. But, I had talked about that on my stream, and I forgot I didn't mention on the podcast. So, yes, that is the thing. Obviously, there will be more gameplay of that coming up. And, obviously, at least 2 to 3 times a week, we do stream Overwatch competitive play on here. In which case, consists mostly a lot of Joe whining, me raging, and that thing, because we'll get one pug in the match that ruins everything. Anyway.
I the last time I wouldn't have raged as hard if y'all would have helped me handle May. I'm fighting one person and May keeps flanking me and everyone else is dead. Like, go kill May. I should
Sorry.
go in there 5v1.
We actually all had it planned out to let May troll have the whole match.
I believe it. I truly do. Discrimination.
That's what it is. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and sign off here for the night, and we will catch you guys all next week on the Pixel Crashers podcast.